Welcome to the MAM Journals. I'm here today at a very sunny Donington and enjoying a day with Yamaha experience. Now I know a number of you have probably thought to yourselves over the years, well, should I have a go at a track day? And for one reason or another you've never bothered, and there's lots of reasons why people don't do them. They don't want to risk their own bikes, and as they get later on in their motorcycling career they think, well, am I perhaps too old or too slow? Or maybe my actions won't be up for it. But what I'm trying to do by making this video is to encourage you that if you are minded to have a go, do have a go. I had a go several years ago, and actually I was pretty busy in work then, and I didn't particularly enjoy it, and I rode bikes which were frankly too big and too fast for the level of experience that I had at that time. And what I've done this time is I actually did what I should have done the first time, in that I taken the advice of my friends and went for a smaller bike. I've actually been, the track days that I've done this year, I've done them on either the R7 or today I've been riding the R6, and bikes which are easier to manage, less intimidating to ride. And I did it via the Yamaha experience because I didn't want to risk any of my own bikes. I wanted to take the opportunity to let somebody else sort out all the logistics for me, and it seemed I'm very comfortable and I had good fun doing it. I've actually encouraged a few friends to do it as well, because I think none of us are getting any younger, and there's no time like the present to crack on and do these things. So what I'm going to be covering in this video is, well, how do you book? How do you sort of go along and get things done? What are the key lessons that I've learned in doing it? And I'm also going to have a chat with a few people, because a lot of people here are they're novice riders. There are novice groups. If you go on a track day, there are experts here with tyre warmers and all sorts of things going on. But don't be intimidated by that, because you haven't got to ride with them. You can go out in a novice group like I've been doing for the few days that I've done this year, and you find people of a like-minded pace and approach. It's not a race. You can go as fast or as slow as you want and you'll be comfortable. Nobody has a problem with it. And I'll say during the course of this I'll be talking to a few people. Stuart's very kindly, who's behind the camera at the moment, he's going to wander around and take some photos of the pits and what goes on a day like this, to give you a bit of a backdrop, and then I'm going to come back and then make some concluding comments as to perhaps how you could take it forward if you too wanted to tick the box and go and do your own track day.
In terms of how you actually book an event, I just went online and I happened to come across the Yamaha experience, and I thought that would be a good place for me to start, as I was reasonably confident that, of course, it being representing Yamaha products, that the bikes would be in good condition and safe. So I came across that in that way, but other groups are available who offer the sort of service where you can rent bikes and instructions. Having booked it, you then receive instructions from the circuit that you're about to go to, normally about a week before, and they start pointing out things like don't forget to bring your license. And obviously in my case, when I was hiring a bike, their instructions on bikes were not really relevant, as I knew that Yamaha would be dealing with that, but they'll talk about things like your bike needs to have, nowadays for a track day, it needs to have a brake protector on, and they also begin to touch on the gear that you need to personally ride it. Although again, if you go through somewhere like Yamaha, that's depending how much gear you've actually got, they can be supplying all of that to make it a very easy, straightforward process, because not everybody wants to go out and buy gear, and certainly on something they're not sure whether they'll be pursuing or not as a hobby, and I can understand that, and it makes it a lot easier. Personally, I've got some gloves and gear, and I took that, but we're all in different situations. So the next stage is that you go to the online safety briefing, and very cleverly, and I think sensibly, they actually a lot of them don't allow you to do that briefing any more than 24 hours before the event, which is a nice way of making sure it's nice and current in your mind. And it's best to do that in a nice leisurely way, work your way through it, because it gives you a good reminder of what you need to do. Track days invariably early starts. I don't think there's been many that I've been to where you haven't been. You don't need to be there sort of between 7 and 7:30. And I personally like to pack the car the day before, make sure that I've got plenty of water in there. I've got visor cleaner, and I put my leathers and various other things in there and a spare shirt for the journey home, and make sure I've got a spare set of gloves. The first part of the day when you get there is to sign on, and this is the point you'll actually need your license, but it's the only point of the day in which you do. So I found a useful tip is to go and put it straight away afterwards, so that you don't spend half the late afternoon wondering where you've left it. And the wrist, they issue you with a wrist label, and you can see in the video that I'm actually wearing a gold label, and that they're different colours for every event you do, but that for that particular day was indicative that I was in the novice group. There's normally, to say, 3 groups. There's the fast group, the intermediate, and the novice. So you're now signed up, you've got your group tag, and you then attend what's called the rider's briefing. And this is really reiterating a lot of the things which are covered in the safety briefing. And it's encouraging safe riding, giving you guidelines for overtaking on track. They offer instruction and the use of instructors by people who are experienced on the track can sort of lead and follow you if you want to do that, and you can book that for a small fee. And they actually often normally go through some garage pit lane briefings which they're offering to help people pick up a few more tips and make their day more enjoyable, but none of them compulsory. They're just there if you wish to. You'll be pleased to hear that as this whole video is about novices. Novices are normally the last group to go out. How they start you off is an instructor will take out 5 or 6 of the group, and they'll give you what's called sighting laps, and really they're showing you the lines through, and they're also showing you how to safely enter and leave the pit lane. I remember the first one that I did on a sighting lap, and many years ago, because this is my second time back into having a go at track days, and I remember going out and being fairly daunted by the pace of the sighting laps, and I thought that was perhaps just me, but speaking to a couple of people at recent days, they feel exactly the same. So it can be a bit daunting because the pace is clearly faster than you would normally ride on the road, and certainly it takes a little while to adjust to, but don't worry about it too much if you feel at the end of those sighting laps, well, it was fast, because by the end of the day, I guarantee you'll be thinking, no, that's actually very comfortable, and I feel happy with doing it. It just takes a little while to adjust, so don't worry if you feel slightly apprehensive. The sessions that you go out for, they get these groups going out, they're normally about 15 to 20 minutes. A few people say to me at the beginning of the day, oh, you don't get very long on the track, but I guarantee by the end of the day, you certainly would have had enough. There's normally 4 sessions in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. And what I would say, in terms of signing up, there's no health requirement or health-related questions asked in any of the process. And the assumption is that if you're fit enough to ride on the road, you're fit enough to ride on the track at a pace that is sensible for you. And whilst there are 7 sessions, I normally find, because I'm definitely personally out of warranty, I find by the end I'm getting pretty tired. So I rarely do full 7 sessions. I might do 5.5, maybe 6, before I know that I've had enough. I'm at the stage I'm pretty tired, and I'm in danger of making a mistake and spoiling what has been a good day. So I personally take the view that for me, discretion is the better part of valor. I'd rather go home having had a good day and not embarrass myself by damaging a bike, or worse still, myself. And I call it that the last session of the day tends to be when people try to beat their own personal sort of records, so it can get a bit lively out there. But again, these are personal choices. You make your own judgment as to how much or how little you want to do. The timing of laps is actively discouraged, and there's some circuits actually banned altogether, although some of the more experienced riders find ways to get around that, because quite how you'd identify timing devices on every bike would be a mystery to me. But pushing to your absolute limits is probably not the right approach as a novice. And I actually found I get more fun if I just focus on getting my lines right and trying to make smooth, rapid progress, and I make more improvement than I do by trying to significantly reduce my braking distances and trying to suck myself into something which is faster than I really want to go. I think that's where people can get themselves into difficulties, and I think it's only responsible that I say, every form that you fill in or you digitally sign points out that motorsport is dangerous, and although it's statistically very low, people do get seriously injured, or frankly even worse. It is very rare, but I think it's only right that I mention it. This is my more balanced view of safety, which I expressed at Donington.
One of the things I often get asked when I'm talking to friends about it is, well, do lots of people fall off? Well, I don't want to mislead you in any way. People do fall off, but in fairness, very few people. In fact, on the 4 days that I've done this year, nobody's actually been injured, other than pride, and the damage has been fairly minimal when it does occur. So yes, it is a possibility, but the vast majority of riders come here and they ride within their own limits, and they ride safely and they go home having had a good day. Hi Rich, as you know, I've been to a couple of your days now. I've had a great time. Can you just tell me what the premise is when you set up the business, and what you're trying to do and who you're trying to appeal to?
The Motor Events is here to take all the barriers to track days away. So all the annoying bits, the van, the setup, the tyre warmers if you need them, the kit, all the little bits that add up to I haven't got everything I need. We do a lot. So you turn up, driving licence, we've got the bike, the riding equipment, the track time, we do all the prep, fueling, tyres, everything. You get on the bike, you ride it, you get off. It's Fabio for the day.
And you cover experts and novices, and what would you recommend to a novice wanting to have a first go at a track day?
Either the British Superbike School, which is the Yamaha Track Experience School at Blighton Park, full instruction, or any novice group in any day we do. We're all very relaxed, no stress, and obviously we look after everything through the bike.
And what sort of riders do you get turning up?
Everybody from 18-year-olds to 92-year-olds on the MTO now, and everything in between.
Okay. And
boys, girls, everything.
Okay. And how much experience do you think you need to do a novice day on a track day?
No, you need to be confident in riding a bike. That's it.
Okay.
As long as you can ride a bike, away you go.
Brilliant. Thank you. Hello, Tom.
Hi, Michael.
Yeah. So I understand this is your second track day.
Yeah, second track day. Yeah, absolutely loving it. Donington Park is amazing track. First time here. It was a little bit intimidating to start with, but once you settle into it, it's absolutely fantastic and having a great time.
So what made you want to do a track day in the first place?
Because me and my dad, we ride road bikes and we have good fun on the road, but you can't push your bike or push your limits a little bit and see how fast you can go. And we watch a lot of racing on TV, and you always aspire to go, I'd love to go and give that a go. Yeah. Hence why we booked ourselves on here, and here we are.
So what was the other circuit you did?
Silverstone.
Oh, okay. And what's your favourite between the two?
It's hard to decide. They're so different. Silverstone's great because it's so big.
Yeah.
But here's nice because it's a little bit more technical and you've got to think a little bit more. And so I'd say probably Silverstone at the moment. But the next few sessions might change my mind.
Okay. And do you mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay, fantastic.
26. Been riding for about 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. So.
And what made you choose to hire a bike and not bring your own? And what was your thinking there?
We live down in Wiltshire, so it's a bit of a way to come up on our bikes or bring a trailer. Yeah. But it's so convenient having everything here. Just hire it, fuel, tyres. Cost-saving options probably might work out cheaper to come here and use their bikes because you ain't got to put your own fuel in or tyres. It's just convenient, and I've always wanted to go on an R6. So.
Yeah, brilliant. So what would you say to anybody thinking about it but not yet committed?
Stop thinking about it and just do it.
Brilliant.
Just do it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hi Chris. I know I'm good. I know this is your first track day, I believe.
It is.
So how are you finding it, and what made you want to have a go on a track day?
Yeah, I've always wanted a track day. It's something I want to do for a while, but not on my own bike. So I joined this one, and yeah, it's good. It's good. Getting better. Hopefully, I'll start overtaking someone in a minute.
You never know.
That's the plan.
Yeah. So, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
41.
Okay. So, have you been riding much for a long time?
Yeah, about 5 years.
Okay.
Legally.
Yeah. Right. And how did you find, the booking on and all that sort of stuff?
To be honest, it's present, so I didn't do none of that. The wife did it all for my birthday.
So it really was literally just turn up?
Yeah.
Great.
Turn up. I haven't even got my own gear with me. I've lent everything.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So you're having a good day?
I am, yeah.
Thank you very much. Right. Martin, how did you manage to get dragged into a track day after not riding a bike for 20 years?
Yeah, well, I know this guy, and he sent me a text, do you fancy having a go at this? And my wife was away doing the Camino de Santiago, so I was missing any proper guidance or proper counsel. So I said yes, yeah.
And how are you finding it?
Yeah, well, it's a lot more scary than it used to be. When you're going around corners, the ground's still further away than I remember.
Right.
But it's brilliant fun, of course it is, yeah. And I'm on the R7 and they're just perfect for this. They're easy, tractable, and later I'm going to be using gears as well.
Right, so what are my recommendations or thought processes on this? We've been through the registration process and how you actually do it online, the briefings, the types of people that ride these bikes, and the sort of experience level that's required to do them. And I hope that it's given you a bit of encouragement thinking, actually, that you yourself fit into some of those categories, and it is a way that you can come and have fun and go and tick that bucket list desire to ride a bike around a track. Pick the bike circuit, the company you work with carefully. I mean, I'm with the Yamaha Experience, they've been very good, but there's others that do it as well. But you want a nice reliable bike that you can trust the team to look after it for you properly. Pick a circuit that works well for you in terms of location and indeed ambition, something you want to do. I've done Brands Hatch, Silverstone, Cadwell Park and now Donington, and I've enjoyed all of them for very different reasons, but pick something that's nice and local if you want to do it. I guess you've got to decide whether you want to do it on your own or with friends, and I think both have their merits. If I'm honest, the first time I went, I quietly snuck off to Cadwell Park just to see whether I'd actually be confident enough to have a go, and I thought, well, if I'm embarrassed and wobbling around too far at the back, then I'll know that it's not for me. But that went well, and therefore I've now started to encourage friends to come with me, and some of them have been foolish enough to actually participate, which has been great fun actually, because it makes a good day for it. But we're all different in terms of how we do that. But the teams of you people who hire the bikes off, and I would recommend first off hiring a bike rather than going your own, just to see if you actually like it, and let somebody else worry about all the logistics while you familiarise yourself with the process and the briefings and everything else that goes on. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you found it informative, and I hope it's encouraged a few of you to get out and have a go. So in the meanwhile, ride safe, stay well.